Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another podcast.
My hands are sweaty.
They're always sweaty.
Yeah,
We have hyperhidrosis.
you're a hyper.
It might be after the Celsius. Oh, that would
Sponsor.
have out. That would have. that would have been a good deal right there.
Yeah,
That
except
was a
not.
good transition.
Yep, not sponsored.
Not
Super
sponsored.
duper not sponsored. Yet. You never know.
Yeah.
Celsius? Question mark. Friends? Question mark.
We gotta start tagging them. Anyways, happy Friday. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
How is everybody doing?
So good to hear. I'm glad you're doing
Great.
good. We are good. Thank you for asking. Uh, enough of you guys though. How have you been, babe? How's your week been?
Um, nothing different, nothing crazy. It's been okay. I've been kind of dragging this week, but still pushing through.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I've just been tired all week. Not
Yeah.
much energy, but I'm still getting my things done, so that's all that matters, I guess.
Yeah. We're actually, this is a valid question now because, weeks ago, like before I went on my TDY, we'd be asking, like, how's your week been, even though we record on a Tuesday. But nowadays, we're starting to record more on like Thursdays. So now it's more of a valid question. The week has actually like happened by now.
Yeah. Before
Yeah.
we would just talk about weekend plans, but we can give you a little more insight on the week.
Yeah. We might keep it up recording on Thursdays, even though it's kind of a close call trying to upload on Fridays because I don't know. It's a big turnaround trying to get this massive hour and some change, file edited and then downloaded and then uploaded. Like that's just a lot for my internet for the Wi-Fi to deal with. And
Yeah. It works out if I have everything done by Thursday night, so that way it has the whole night while we're sleeping to be uploaded. So by the time that we wake up, it's ready to go. But that's also me having to edit like tonight
yeah.
and making sure it's ready to go.
Well, so far this week we've been having extra time at the end of the night to just kind of hang out. So should be able to do it. I don't see no reason why you can't do the same tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyways, um, how was how are you?
how was those? Oh, good. I mean, I think I expressed last week that last week I was really, really, really tired because just a lot of stuff at work and I was burnt. But this week has been very, very different. Um Monday I was dragging and then Tuesday morning, uh still dragging on Monday. Tuesday morning, before I went into work, you know, said a little prayer and since then, dude, it's all gone. Just been so good. So I've been having a good week. And today, oof, so not busy at all. Just had lots of time. I'm not gonna lie, today might have been one of those days where taxpayer dollars may have been wasted on me just sitting around. But you know what? That's kind of the big reality of the military. Not that we don't do anything ever. I mean, end of the day, we defend the country, not your taxpayers. But it was just one of those days. At least for our shop specifically. I'm not speaking for the Air Force. I'm talking about where I work. We've been pretty ahead of schedule, efficient this week. So today we had a lot of extra time to just kind of sit around, talk to a bunch of the airmen around the shop. Just kind of hanging out. It's been pretty good. Tomorrow we should be done way before lunchtime. So probably gonna be some more time to hang out thanks to our efficiency in work. So I guess in totality, taxpayer dollars were not wasted because we worked hard this week and we're very, very efficient. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Good for you.
don't hate on the military, please. We do work, okay?
occasionally.
But yeah, work has been good. This week's been a lot better than last week. I all the things that I've been dealing with the past couple of weeks that have made me so tired last week and the week before. I'm pretty much done with everything. I got all my stuff in order at work. I got my area in order at work. So now everything's just kind of like running itself basically. I set up a pretty good baseline for everything to just kind of do its own thing, and then I'm just maintaining, I guess. So yeah, definitely going to be a lot more lighthearted at work, not so consumed with bullshit. So I'm excited. We're working on potentially putting together a a shot at me getting a third quarter award. So we'll see where that goes. I just put together anything and everything I could think of for this third quarter that's about to come to a close here in September. And I don't know. We'll see if it gets me anything. We're going to try putting me up for an award. Hopefully, God willing, I can make some noise. Because you guys know, I'm trying to maybe, hopefully, rank up next year. And that only comes if I can, A, do good on the test. That more than anything. No. Because I could do good on the test and still have a shit EPR. I'm trying to beef up my stats, basically, for my next performance report for this year. So yeah, see where it goes. See where it goes. But yeah, for once, I put together like the entire podcast.
Yeah. So if it's boring, blame him.
Yes, I will dish it out, and I can't take it. If this is a shit podcast and for some reason you guys don't like it, hey man, just let me know, and maybe I won't. Who the fuck is spamming my Instagram likes? She's Lena65. Oh, is this one of those like fake porn accounts? Probably.
I've had um, a lot of random people liking my stuff
Let's give it a
recently.
good
I don't know
clicky.
why.
Clicky clicky. Lena Talia, 454 subscribers. She seems to maybe be a traveler. I've never seen this lady in my life. What the fuck? And she's just spamming a bunch of pictures with both of us in it. Yeah, this is definitely some weird account.
Yeah. I don't know what's been going on Instagram recently, but a lot of spams recently.
Yeah. Anyways, not that this is some like crazy out of bounds topics that I've put together for today. I mean, there's stuff that have been sitting in her notes for a while. I've just kind of pieced it together because they've been sitting there for a while. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
may
we
as well
just have
talk
a lot
about
of
it.
random topics that we'll just randomly think of, or like if we're watching something, I'll just write it down, but it's like so random, so it's hard to kind of combine everything. But I guess he found something to do today, so that's what we're
Yep,
doing.
yep. Just piece together what she had already written down like months ago. Yeah, let's get into it. Uh, topic, the general topic of
Oh, she's
today's.
also spamming my Instagram.
Oh Lord, what is happening? She's Lena65.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go follow her, guys.
don't do that.
I'm just
What?
kidding.
It's probably some porn CP, PC, CPU.
What?
The you know, the bots. That one.
A bot,
Yeah, one of them like porn bots on Instagram.
maybe. Anyways,
Dot bots.
back to it.
Yeah. The general thing today is just going to be, you know, relationship related stuff, as per usual. But today we're going to talk about healthy habits, and then some other stuff later on that we'll get to. But for now, uh, do you have? Did you mean anything specifically when you wrote this down? Healthy habits.
Um, Not really. I think that kind of came up when we were talking about that like a lot in previous podcasts. I feel like that we had a good streak going over. We were just talking about like our journey with things and I don't know, certain situations. So I think I just wrote that down just in that sense, like where we kind of came from.
Hmm. Well, I have. I thought maybe we could think or talk about like obviously healthy habits individually and in a relationship are super important. Um, just to, for one, establish some level of like discipline in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other word? I'm trying to sound good. Whatever, you guys know
We're
what I'm
trying
trying
to
to
sound
say.
sophisticated
Yeah, I'm
today.
trying to sound smart. I'm gonna hop in my word bag, but no. We'll go with this. What are, I don't know, 3 to 5 healthy habits within a relationship that you think are super important?
mm, well, communication is the obvious one, which we talk a lot about. Um, God, my mind's going blank. See, this is why I don't like not having control because now I'm just gonna sit here in silence and not know what to say.
Well, I'm always on the
Um,
don't know side.
well, yeah, but like you're a talking person. You just talk and talk all the time, so it's easy for you
Well, gee, that
to
was a
answer.
nice way of saying this guy doesn't shut the fuck up.
Maybe yeah.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. You are a very talkative person, though. That's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to say it like it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes.
You're getting served.
um. Okay, we got communication. You see, I'm thinking of things. I can't think of like a certain word, so I'll just explain it. Um. Jeez, I can't even explain it.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Thanks. Hmm.
You can do it.
It's there in my brain and just it's not coming to me. I was gonna say like we talked about this the last podcast, or I think the last two, um, where you're trying to like keep it not boring
Keep
in the
dating each other
relationship. Yeah, I
and
guess, but there's like a
maintain.
certain word that I'm trying to think of that I can't. They're just trying to like maintain that fun side of a relationship, I guess.
Friends? Be
I don't
friends?
know.
What?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, because obviously that's important because once it starts to get boring, then
Keep the
that's,
spark alive?
yeah, I guess so. You can say that. So there's one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know if this goes in with communication, but honesty is really big.
Yeah, that would qualify.
Let's see. There's
Three.
three.
Jinx
Jinx.
said first.
Whatever. Um. Oh my god.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but I farted.
You farted.
Yeah.
Um.
That one feels like it's gonna be stinky. For sure. So
Open up the freaking blankets. Let it breathe.
you wanna smell it?
No, I don't want to smell it. Just get it out of the blankets. Do, 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 do. Can you not blow your fart towards me? Smell it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why don't you throw the last two out there?
For you, I can't pick your. Well, I said 3 to 5. We'll go with your 3.
Yeah.
I wrote down 6, I think.
Well, you see, this isn't fair. You had this shit written down, ready to go, and I'm here having to brainstorm in the moment.
Well, I didn't pick 6. Well, of course I picked some for myself, but I also knew like she's not a part of the planning of this, so I wrote a couple more down that you could agree with probably. Hopefully.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, I thought about you, kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Well, in a relationship, you hit the nail on the head there. You got communication. Obviously, with that comes hopefully honesty. Um, I wrote down be friends in the interest of what you were trying to say. Keep dating each other, keep the spark alive, kind of things like that. But I also wrote down being able to show each other grace. More than anything,
Yeah.
probably. Ooh, I don't know what's better, grace or making a welcome environment for the other person, especially when it comes to
I think
conflict.
that goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I guess it does, but
Because obviously, showing the other person grace would be you with welcoming harms,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, I guess. But even then, like, because there could be moments where
Well,
you don't.
I can see how there's two how they can be separate, but it's like if one is happening, then the other one follows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's kind of maybe what I meant in my head, but eh,
Because like you
me,
wanna you wanna sit there and be like okay to listen, and then depending on the situation, it's like don't be an ass about it.
yeah. So I think that's where I was going with it. Is like with grace, you want to be able to listen, but like react well, and especially if your partner has done wrong against you, you like the right thing is not to just come after them immediately because now you're kind of a hypocrite and you're just being an asshole back. Like if they hurt you, why do you not have the right to hurt them? I think approaching with grace and trying to be understanding and be able to take a step back is super duper important um, in those moments where wrong is done against you. But with that, obviously, you got to make a welcoming environment that the person even feels comfortable to, I don't know, express stuff to you. Because obviously in long-term relationships, there's going to be so many long, hard conversations. You need that welcoming, like, hey, I'm here with you. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get through this kind of thing. That's what I
That's
meant by
just
that.
like being comfortable with each other.
Yeah, but I mean, you can be comfortable all you want, but like, I don't know if I can be comfortable with you to say anything, but if you're giving off some kind of vibe, that'll just kind of throw me off.
Mm.
I feel like, see, that's kind of what I meant by that. Um, and especially if you don't know what's going on and your partner approaches you like all distraught, you gotta be like, oh my god, like what's going on, or like it's okay, kind of thing. Um, I think boundaries are important when it comes to practicing those healthy habits.
In terms of what?
I was gonna ask you that. Like, what would or like I know what I meant. Like, because what I was gonna say is boundaries. What are your boundaries?
But
Yeah.
like, but they're what?
What?
Like referring to what?
Like,
Because I can say like I have there's boundaries in an obvious relationship like around other people. Like that's one
well, yeah,
scenario.
that's a boundary. Hey, in certain social uh interactions, I would appreciate it if maybe if you behave this way as opposed to this way. Or like, being able to set boundaries I think is super important in a healthy relationship. Or like, hey, I don't like it when you do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
Or like just that's kind of what I meant.
Okay.
So let's see, those are three. You got to be friends, keep dating each other. Showing appreciation to the other person I think is super duper important. You know, when they do something for you, you got to be able to give something back. Hey, thank you for doing this. Uh, stuff like that. I think that's super duper important in making the other person feel valued and like they're not just doing stuff because they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta always give thanks. Um, and listening, but also applying what you are hearing. So this kind of comes with the boundaries thing. It's like, hey, when I express that I would like this to be done this way, or I feel this way about this. Yeah, hear the person out, but like, don't just hear it out and then, okay. I think it's super important to also apply that stuff so that way they feel valued, like they're being really, really heard, and you guys are able to come together. And that those for me are super duper important healthy habits, which most of them do fall into the same kind of big categories, but I think it's important to flesh them out individually.
Yeah.
Mm.
Another one that I had thought of was mainly like individually based, but I feel like it's necessary in a relationship. Like if you're not 100% with yourself, it's very hard to give your all in a relationship.
Oh yes, that I was going to move on to like individual healthy habits as well. I think individually the most important thing you can do is love yourself before you can ever commit to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't even take care of yourself, boy, never mind the other person. What if you one day get to kids? Like, how are you going to take care of another person, let alone kids, let alone X, Y, and Z, if you're forgetting about yourself? That's super important for sure.
Yeah, and just so it's not like hurting yourself either when you're in a relationship. Obviously, it's a lot easier to put everybody else before you. So like you might not notice it, but if you're not taking the time for yourself to do stuff just for you, doesn't matter if it's small or big, like those little things do matter.
Yeah,
And it'll eventually add up over time to where you kind of start to feel worse in the end when you could have just done something about it beforehand. So then that way, your relationship doesn't get the shit end of the stick.
sure, sure. And back to the boundaries thing. What for the people that aren't me, who don't know your specific boundaries, what might those be?
um, hmm, are we talking like general or like what we had just mentioned before?
What do you mean by that?
Well, because we listed like two boundaries or whatever earlier.
Yeah,
We were
like
talking about
stuff
those.
like that. Yeah, like within
Oh,
a relationship, being able to. What
I
boundaries
guess.
do you have for me, or things that you like a certain way?
Well, obviously, the I think the biggest one is knowing. Obviously, there always needs to be respect in the relationship, but I guess if you want to talk like social gatherings, it's more of just for me personally. It's not so much. Thankfully, I'm over the whole jealousy side of things. That's not something we deal with anymore. That did take a bit to get over. Obviously, coming from my past, you guys know all about that if you keep up with our stuff. But um I think it's just making it known to your partner of like I don't want to say like what you are and you're not okay with people, but like yes. Not in
Well,
like a
that's exactly
control
what it
not in
is.
like a controlling way, but it's like when you're in a relationship, I just feel like it's kind of obvious to know like that line not to cross
Some
with
people don't
certain
know that
people.
line though.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's not ever really been something that like we've dealt with where it's well, I guess we have, but like I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
maybe
know how
let's
to
not think
explain it.
so generally. Maybe what do you for me
Well,
mainly?
I had already said. I said socially for you. That's what I was saying. Like there's not really we just kind of know like what's clearly okay and what isn't, and there hasn't really been issues in our relationship when it comes to that. And like the
I just
things that did come up was like I don't know.
I get. I guess this is kind of awkward because I just realized I don't think we ever like ever sat down and were like, these are my boundaries.
Well, because we've never had to.
Yeah.
We've never really been in a situation where it's been like too much or like some extreme situation happened. I think that things that have happened, which probably like only really been a handful amount of times, and it wasn't like too bad, but just small hiccups there. I mean, we talked about it and we expressed like what was okay and what wasn't in the situation. And then from there, we just kind of know like, okay, we know how to deal with it going forward.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever, no, we haven't sat down and talked about boundaries, but we've just never been in a situation like that
Yeah.
or had to deal with those kind of issues. I don't know.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, It is super true. Like we've just never had to define a hard line because I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from videos or any other podcast. Me, I'm not a stupid guy like a lot of dudes these days. So
Yeah.
I'm not out here testing the lines or having my own definition of what the lines are for boundaries. Like,
Yeah,
just
we've just kind of looked
do
out
the
that,
right thing always.
yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, like we kind of just follow what seems obvious, even though, yeah, for some people it's not obvious, but they're stupid.
I,
So
I
I don't
would
really,
I would describe it more as we just do the right thing.
I guess. Not saying that we're perfect. We definitely have our hiccups, but like it's never been,
We try to do the right thing.
yeah. And thankfully, when I had my struggles with learning a healthy way in that kind of environment in the beginning of our relationship, thankfully he was like the complete opposite. So like it wasn't like I was going back and forth with somebody acting the way that I was, which is what makes things so complicated trying to deal with somebody who's being just as toxic as you are. So it helped that
Mm,
he was already
I
in
got
that
a
healthy mindset.
yeah, I got an interesting way to put this then. Since we never had to do the boundaries thing, I guess. What are boundaries that you've had to set before?
God, there's everything. I don't think there was I don't think there was anything that I was like, okay, you can do this, because I felt like there just needed to be something on everything. I don't know, like I I had so many boundaries or rules set on myself that is what kind of made me obviously think that, like, okay, well, you can't do this, this, and this.
Like what?
So, like I had mentioned, thankfully I'm over the whole jealousy side of a relationship, but that was a huge factor in every other relationship I've ever been in. So, literally, just being around girls in general, I
Hmm.
was like not ever happy or didn't want. So, that was already a hard no. But it's because it was the same on me. Like I had rules, I had boundaries or whatever. Like I was told what to wear and what not to wear, and like who I can hang out. Like I obviously just kind of followed what was being put on me. So yeah, they're stupid to look back on because it was literally like, well, you can't go out and do this with this person, or like you can't be around girls. Essentially, is what it was because I wasn't allowed to be around boys.
I used to always laugh at that one when you would come to me about those problems.
Like I couldn't hang around with my friends, like even girls. I That was still seen as like, no, that's too much. Like
Uh,
you had your one night out, you can't go out again. Like that's
you
essentially what my
guys.
life was. But that's why I lied so much too, because he also just didn't know ever what was going on in my life. Because thankfully, Life 360 wasn't really that big then, so tracking each other was not in the picture, thank God. But yeah, I essentially just kind of lied through everything because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't even hang out with my friends without it being an argument every time.
Yeah, you guys don't know the amount of shit I had to listen to. Just like that one to me will always be the funniest is the one where she couldn't even hang out with her own friends, like the girls. And
Literally girls. It's not even like they're gay. Like we're just girls being girls.
yeah, that one was always so funny to me. And like this one, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, oh, that's so stupid. Because some of you guys know her best friend is gay, but her ex before me was like, no, he's a dude. But it's like, but like he, this dude likes wiener. So what are we really talking about? Now this shit was
Yeah.
so funny to me. And
Essentially, it after a while, I kind of just realized that it stemmed from jealousy because
Oh yeah.
he had nothing. He didn't really have friends. He didn't have the things that I had or the life that I thankfully had. So a lot of that came from, well, you have all this, but I don't have that, so it's not fair that you get to go and do all that and I can't.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So everything just kind of turned into me being manipulated, essentially, because now he's giving me this big sob story of, oh, well, I have this terrible life and I don't have this and I've never had friends and you go out every night and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, not fun. But boundaries are important to a certain extent. It's not those I don't even no, I can't even call that boundaries. It's literally controlling.
Yeah, well, you guys was definitely just manipulation and controlling. But I think I just what would be like a good example of a healthy boundary? I mean, I guess what we said uh in social spaces, like uh I don't know, if we were out with my guy friends, I guess a healthy boundary would be like, hey, uh fucking what do you even what?
That's what I'm saying. Like with us, it's hard to really
What could you do
name some
wrong
stuff.
in a
I
setting
guess
with your
the
boys?
biggest thing is like not being so close or like so touchy, I guess.
Ooh, a respectful one that our good friends uh Griffin was just telling me about. Uh, he thinks it's a good thing to you know in a distance setting message the man of the relationship about the wife, because when he asked you to take him to the airport, he came to me first. He was like, hey, are you cool if VNA takes me?
Oh,
And
yeah.
we talked about it. He brought up, he's like, hey, were you cool with that? And I'm like, dude, yeah, I mean, you came to me first. That's the ultimate sign of respect. And he was like, yeah, I would definitely expect that from you as well, and even from our lady counterparts. If you wanted to talk to Griffin somehow, or you needed something from Griffin, him to take you to the airport, I think it would go without saying, I mean, hopefully without saying, that you need to get the A-OK from the partner first. Because now if you're just messaging the other person's significant other, it just seems weird. Like, it's a little too, excuse you.
My throat just made a weird noise.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how this, because you can spin that off as being controlling, right? Like, oh, don't talk to Griffin VNA. Don't ever talk to him. But
I think it depends on context because obviously like he's messaged me, but like because of something that's happening or something that's happening with his girlfriend or just a question
yeah,
about something. It's never a like weird creepy text. I think that's when it starts to get weird. Is like
yeah,
if you're talking a little too personal now,
yeah, like trying to actually be
that's
close.
different.
Like that's kind of the where it gets weird. Now,
Like
if it's
it's one thing to like be in conversation in person. If, like we're all hanging out, and if you individually want to have a conversation with them, fine. But I think to a certain level, over text can get tricky.
yeah, yeah, that's
But
why he came to me about the you taking him to the airport thing. Like that's just the decent, that's the good thing to do.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess that's yeah. It's just being respectful of the other person. I don't
yeah,
know. The only thing that I can really think of is like people. I don't. It's not so much on you. It's always more worrying about like what the other person is gonna do and like not knowing in that sense, like
yeah,
because obviously you can have trust for your partner, but you never know what the other person's intentions are or
yeah.
what they might do. um my only thing with that is like just when things are like too touchy with females, but like again that's never been something we've ran into.
Mm.
That's just always been something that like makes me uncomfortable, I guess.
Yeah, keeping that respectful distance in person as well, like a good firm handshake, or hey, a nice uh one of them good old side hugs.
Yep, it's
No, I
always the
mean,
side hugs.
I wouldn't give a shit if you were to go up to one of my friends back home and like give them a full on hug. Like, come on, like I don't know. For me, I tend to care a lot less about the ticky tacky shit. Like I appreciate the the right thing to do, but if you go and hug I don't know, Chris, like do I expect a side hug? No. Am I gonna care if you give him a regular hug? No. Like I don't know. I'm looking
You
at this
know,
word boundaries and I'm just like this shit is stupid because I don't know. I my mind is different, guys. I don't
I
know.
think the other thing too is that when you're in a marriage, you don't think about stuff like that
I guess
because
yeah.
you just know.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
Like
locked in. Like I don't really care about that kind of shit.
nobody's going anywhere. So,
Hopefully.
duh. Like in a marriage, it's not like a stupid little high school relationship where it's like shit's gonna start happening between you two and be on the verge of a breakup if I go and hug somebody.
Yeah.
Like you're married, that's your person. You guys should just know like what's okay and what isn't. So when it comes to those small little itty bitty things of like, oh well, I don't want her to hug him like that, or I don't want whatever. You don't really think about that stuff so much because you just kind of know
Yeah.
when you're in the marriage.
Oh, I just thought of one. This could apply to dating and even in marriage, you know. When you have like a boys' night or a girls' night out, like don't be out so fucking retard. Oh, we gotta blur that. We gotta quiet that one. Mute, mute, mute.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be out
Don't
stupidly
be
late.
stupid. Yeah.
Like it's like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. nighttime late. Like, what are we doing? Seriously?
Yeah. I only care to be out that late if I'm with him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
My bedtime's 10 o'clock. Otherwise.
Yeah. But again, that's just kind of, I think once you evolve to the state of marriage, those things just, that's why I feel like for us, I mean, we felt like this even before marriage, but even now in marriage, those things just kind of go without saying. It's like, we're married now, like, be a grown up, do grown up things, do the right thing.
Yeah. I
But,
think that's also the other thing too. It's like you're not a child, so
yeah,
don't act like it.
yeah.
And also it's just like some things can just like be seen as embarrassing when you start acting a little too much when you're like without your person. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. That's I feel like that being like if it's a girls' night or boys' night, that just kind of reflects on your partner as well, on
Oh, yeah,
how
for
you
sure.
act. So
Yeah.
that's also important because it's not so much that I mean you're embarrassing yourself, but like
Mhm.
you're also making me look stupid
Yeah,
if you're acting a certain way in front of other people.
yeah, definitely. Um, well, with the me personally, I think we're getting better at this now. The whole like making tough conversations a welcome environment because there was a good the beginning of our relationship was shite at
Everything was shite.
that. The welcome environment thing was not there because like when we both feel a certain way,
Communication just wasn't there, so that was already
yeah,
that was the issue
it
was
was
that
hard
we
to
couldn't
communicate
talk.
first, but then with the attitude that we both had toward each other, we just didn't feel comfortable at all saying anything. So it's just kind of like we'd let problems just be like, oh, nothing, whatever, fuck that, fuck you, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and even up to there's been sometimes this year. I mean, but that's just part of a relationship, right? You're gonna be good, and then other times you'll fall. We're working on it. Um, I'd say, I mean, we've definitely come a long way, but I
I
think we
think
can.
more it's now it's like okay, we know.
We know, but there's still a lot of moments where we have our faults.
No, yeah, but I just mean in the sense that like before it was we were like so hostile towards each other and
Yeah.
like obviously what's the word? Putting your ego aside.
Yes.
That's very big. And I think that's something that has definitely gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that does come up now, it's more of like, mm, yeah, we won't get to the problem like right away sometimes, but it's not like we're being, what's it called?
Hostile
I guess.
or like distant.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a certain word that I'm trying to think of, but that's yeah, that's essentially what it is. It's not like we're trying to be mean or like I don't know. I can't think of the word.
Attitude.
There's a certain word, but it's in that sense. Yeah, like we're not sitting on the other side of the house being petty. That's what it was.
Oh yes.
Like it's not a petty situation anymore. Now it's just like, well, they're upset. We'll give it some time and then we'll come back to it. Some it might take longer than other situations and that's fine, but like the difference between now and then was that there was just so much attitude and pettiness before,
Yeah.
which is what made
Definitely.
it so difficult to talk. And then when we would talk, it wasn't a nice
No.
conversation.
No,
It
it
was
wasn't.
yelling, it was ignoring, it was everything.
Yeah.
Now we know it's a calm conversation and it's gotten better.
Yeah. But yeah. I think we can. There's still. I mean, there's always room to grow, but I think we can definitely stand to like on mm, in the leading up to uh talking about something because there's been some times lately where there'll be an issue and we love to talk about or we love to tell people like oh yeah we try to work things out as fast as possible but then there's sometimes where it drags out just a little bit too long and that little bit too long time period is kind of where one of us gets a little bit frustrated and then we kind of expect the other person to do something and when they don't we get mad like it just kind of adds fuel to the fire.
I guess.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the last few months. Um, but I mean that's just on fault of lack of communication. I think if we're getting to the point where we're mad that something's not happening from the other person, we should just like step up to the plate. Um, but yeah, also, damn, there was something I was trying to say. I don't know. The point is trying to make tough conversations okay to or comfortable to just let shit out, no matter how bad it might sound to the other person. But that's where the other person, you know, that's how he said it goes hand in hand. Other person may need some extra bit of grace to just hear you out, no matter how bad it sounds. Um, yeah, I'm always big on the conflict resolution side of things. I've expressed it so many times that I never ever thought about, oh yeah, I want to get in the relationship for the hunky dory, you know, good times and shit. I always told her, even since before we dated, I don't want that shit for the what's it called, the honeymoon phase.
Mm.
I never like yeah, this shit's cool, but honeymoon phase only lasts that there's an expiration date to that. I've always wanted to get to the real shit. How are we going to deal with problems and stuff like that? And I love exploring and improving in that side of things because that's what builds. That's the foundation. That's how you come out the other side better in so many different things. So I'm sure there's a lot of couples out there, any of you watching, that could stand to improve on the conflict resolution side of things and showing each other grace and making that a welcome environment to talk to each other because that shit is crucial. Because if your partner is trying to talk to you and you're just sitting there like arms crossed, like, what do you got to say? I don't care really, but go ahead.
Mm.
That is so shit. It's not gonna make the other person want to talk. It's not gonna help. So yeah, that's definitely super important. And then with that, um, listening and applying, you know, being attentive to what they're saying, really comprehending, and then in the future, making note of, oh, I'm going to do this. So, you know, I can work better to serve them and make them happy and make this a more flowy relationship. Yeah. The next thing, again, with conflict resolution or just conflict in general, these next 2 points I'll uh what's the word combine is arguing healthy and this is from what you wrote down arguing versus disagreements. I'll put it all together but did you have your own definition for this stuff? where you wanted to go?
Well, it's like I like I just mentioned how before when there were issues in our relationship, that first year was it was arguing. It was yelling. It was walking away, just so much pettiness and everything compared to now where yeah, we're not perfect at how we communicate, but it doesn't have any of what we used to do. Nobody's yelling, nobody's crying, at least not in a bad way. Like there's the pettiness is gone. Like now it's just okay, let's sit down, let's listen, let's talk. Let's figure it out. It's not perfect in how we do things now, but it's healthier than what it was before, which is why I think there's arguing, which is what we had, and there's disagreements or just something, a discussion really that needs to be had.
Yeah. Well, do you think arguing is healthy though?
If we're talking about like how it was before, like real arguing,
I would.
because I feel like arguing is kind of used in general when there's a disagreement between the two. Like
Well, I
everybody
mean,
always says like, "Oh, well, we had an argument the other day." That doesn't necessarily mean that we were like yelling at each other and ripping each other's heads off. But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like some people just kind of refer to any like hiccup as an argument.
I think because there's such a thing as the bad arguing, which is the name calling and the this and then the accusations and the bullshit. Like there's that, but I think there is a healthy way to argue, which is yeah, maybe at some points you get loud, and some points you're feeling very very frustrated, but in the end you're able to make that resolution, come out understood and even better sometimes. Because like this just made me think about how that one episode of New Girl where uh, Jess just didn't feel the passion with Fancy Man
Mm-hmm.
because they never argued, and like yeah, that's a good thing. That speaks to I don't know their harmonious relationship. Like they were just on the same page all the time, so they never really argued. But then she felt like there was this lack of passion. Like why aren't we yelling at each other? Like she felt like maybe there was a
Yeah.
lack of uh intimacy or emotion. Like there was
No,
just that extra
I
shit.
definitely get that because that's essentially kind of how I felt like the first year of our relationship, which is why like so much arguments happened or
You're an
whatever
instigator.
came from my end because I like arguing. So like, and I came from a very toxic relationship of where arguing was happening probably 24/7, and it included everything: the name calling, the yelling, the whatever. Like it had everything.
Yeah.
So coming from that to being with somebody who doesn't do any of that, that first year did kind of feel like, well, what the hell is this? Like I want to yell, I want to scream, like get mad, like let me do something. So, like I get it, but I wouldn't say that that's healthy. I think to a certain level, like yeah, it's okay.
That's why I'm saying it. I think there is a version of arguing that's healthy.
Yeah, definitely not my version of arguing. That's not the healthy way to do it. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. I think you can at some points get loud if you're just that frustrated and you're like, I don't know, if you just sometimes there's just that bit of emotion. Now you need to yell. Like I think there's a version of arguing that doesn't include name calling, it doesn't include accusations and the pettiness and the this and the that.
I
I
guess
don't.
it also just depends on how well you know yourself.
Yeah,
Because if you think that getting to a certain level of anger will result in a negative way of communicating, or just things will start coming up that shouldn't, just because you're getting to that level, then I think that's where it's kind of like, okay, we need to take a step back.
yeah.
So I think that also just depends. Like, yeah, we can argue, but if you think that allowing yourself to be vulnerable in that kind of situation, and if it can get too much and you don't know how to handle that, then that's where it's like, it's probably better to not do that.
Yeah.
and figure out another way to communicate. Because I think for me, if I'm yelling, there's something wrong. Like
You think if I'm yelling,
well,
there's
yeah,
something
if you're
wrong?
yelling, I
Because
know that.
I've always expressed, dude, I hate drama in my life. Like, even if her and I go through the smallest thing, I'm always just like, fuck, dude, I hate not having a happy home. Like, she's over there on that side of the house or that side of the couch, and I'm over here, and I hate the tension. I hate
Mm-hmm.
it, and I hate. I mean, not to trauma dump again like last week. I witnessed so much of that yelling and the screaming, and I probably shouldn't say that part. Things got really bad growing up at some points, and I never wanted that for myself. So I always try to pull back before I feel like I might get to that self of, you know, punching the air and yelling at the top of my lungs. I always try to take that step back. But I don't know. I think I've had some points in this year where I've done it in a good way, or not even just this year alone. I think there's been maybe justified points in throughout our relationship.
Yeah,
I think I've earned my few yells.
I guess. But I mean, yeah, that for you, like that's just kind of that's just how I know. Like if you are getting to that point, I'm like, oh, well, this is serious now because now he's mad, and he doesn't get mad
Yeah,
like that. So
if I do yell, that means you fucked up.
yeah. So when it comes to me, I've definitely gotten better. I don't really argue the way that I used to. I don't remember the last time that I actually like yelled
Yeah,
or
but
try to like argue towards you.
yeah, I mean, we
Cause I
mainly.
know I know that once I start, then I'm not gonna want to talk to you for like 3 days.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying
I
like
think that's something you need to improve on.
well no, that's why I was saying like I think it depends on how well you know yourself and what you think you can handle and can't in the situation because I can sit here and say like no, I'll be calm. I'll sit here and talk to you. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you're my brain kind of goes like gone,
Yeah,
and I'm just all I'm seeing is red essentially. So it's like not everybody is fully thinking, depending like how bad the argument or whatever is.
yeah.
So
I guess that's fair enough.
that's what I
But
was saying. Like if I don't know, you got to learn how to navigate around that.
yeah, I guess that's fair enough. Just knowing your own bounds, being within your own limits. But you, I think you can still stand to find that sweet middle ground where you're not seeing red, but you're also not talking.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like now, I had said I feel like I've gotten better because I
Yeah,
don't
you
feel
have,
like that
you have.
in situations now. Like
Yeah,
I've never like I don't remember the last time where I was like actually sitting here like I'm ready to tell you off type of thing
yeah.
or just act the way that I used to act. I've haven't experienced that recently, so that's a little bit of progress, I guess.
Yeah. No, you've definitely, yeah, you've come a long way in all kinds of areas. But I always say there's always room to improve. I mean, even me, like I'm trying to work on some of these healthy habits that I'm, you know, expressing, the listening and applying. We can all get better at that. Um, Showing appreciation for your partner. I feel like I've always shown appreciation, but I'm trying to do those little things more.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah. Um, what was the other one? The grace and making a welcome environment in the terms of a conflict resolution or just being uh kind of more accepting you with open arms, even outside of conflict resolution, just like anything. Even if you're happy about something, you're trying to tell me something. I'm definitely working on accepting you more with like, oh, like yes, like it's more
Caring?
no, not caring. Fuck, what was the word? It starts with an I. I think
Interested?
more intrigued. Like not that I never show interest in what you're trying to tell me. I just I'm trying to go the extra step to let you know, like, yeah, I'm here to I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
I've always done it. It's just I want to do more to make you feel more valued, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to sound sweet. I'm trying to do something good, guys. I'm trying to be good, okay? Not that I was bad. I'm just trying to do better.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um yeah, the next thing was the arguing versus disagreements. I mean, I guess we've I don't want to say regressed, but maybe improved? Question mark. Two disagreements because we
Yeah,
definitely don't
it's
like
not
we
arguing.
don't full blown argue ever. We kind of more discuss.
Yeah, and I've never even thought like, oh well, we had an argument 2 days ago.
Yeah,
No, it's well, we had a little hiccup.
yeah. I usually because yeah, I would describe it like if I'm telling somebody, I would say like, oh, we had a conversation and maybe it didn't go the right way.
Yeah, it's never. I mean, I don't. It's not even like I'm going to anybody when we do have stuff. Like I, nobody knows what's going on in our relationship. I don't take that out of here.
Yeah,
Um, but I guess if we are talking about like that kind of situation, even then, I'm still not thinking about like saying we had an argument.
yeah. No, if I was to tell somebody, I don't know if I'd say I would just describe it as a conversation that just happened to go south. Like, oh,
Okay.
because that's kind of where it goes wrong. Like, realistic, that'd be
Yeah,
the
we were
most
talking about
realistic.
something and it just didn't go the right way. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be the most what's the word apt description. Because there's sometimes where we're talking, then it's like, wait a minute, what? And then it goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that'd be the best way to put it. It's a disagreement
yeah.
because I feel like essentially that's what majority of them come down to is that we have two different opinions about something. Again, this kind of depends on what the context is, but I feel like sometimes it really is just like, well, we have different views on this, so we're just gonna agree to disagree. But like, we heard each other, we know what needs to be done from the other person, and we move on.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, keeping in with this whole topic, but also putting a bow on it. Dealing with hate. I'm sure there's been maybe more towards the beginning of our relationship moments where you hated my guts, and maybe even after the beginning of our relationship. How have you dealt with that? How do you deal
We.
with that?
I don't hate you. I haven't hated you.
In how long? Check the clock. Check your calendar. I'm sure you marked it the last time down.
I honestly, I can't even think of the last time I was like, God, I don't want to be around you right now. It really was just like probably within that first year of us being in Alaska.
Oh, being in Alaska, so like after we were married? Gee.
Was
Breaking
that not what
news.
you were talking about?
No, I meant like the beginning of our relationship,
Oh,
like dating and
sorry, I was thinking marriage.
well, I mean, hey, if
Cause
that's
I,
true for you, then tough. But okay,
well, cause I feel like yeah, things were bad when we were dating, but I feel it was definitely worse when we were married and living together. Cause again, that was like the first year of us actually being together in person, physically, and now we're experiencing arguments that would happen over FaceTime. Now it's in person. They might have been like really bad, but like two different levels. Like the arguments that would happen when we were long distance, and then the arguments that we had in Alaska.
yeah, I think I can see what you mean by it was worse when we were actually married and living together for the first time in Alaska because it's like
Because I never
now we're
really,
actually physically there. Like we have to feel the emotions.
yeah, and I
We
never
have to deal
really
with
like
it.
yelled at you the way that I did in Alaska over the phone. I feel like if
No,
things were
you did.
bad, I would just ignore you.
Yeah,
That was my
yeah,
way of
Yeah,
yelling, I guess, over the phone.
I guess I see what you mean. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess I would agree. It's definitely harder doing it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't say I ever hated you.
Well, I'm sure there were lots of moments where you did not like my existence. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Your
I would
deepest
say
level of
it's
dislike for me. How did you deal with that? Whatever level of hatred or strong dislike it was.
I don't know. I feel like well that's why I would just not talk to you. Or like we would just be in silence living together for like 3 days.
But I
Cause
don't mean like
I never really like I don't know, I didn't sit there and like speak with my emotions. Like I wasn't sitting there dwelling on me being mad at you. I was just like going on with my day knowing that I like didn't want to talk to you for a while.
so. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like not how much or what you did externally, like being quiet or whatever. Like internally, like what's your thought process? Like how are you getting over it?
I just don't care to talk to you. That was just my way of like I said, I was never sitting there like thinking about what's going on in my head.
So you just suddenly were not disliking my guts anymore.
No, I didn't like you. That's why I just wouldn't talk to you.
But then how do you get from that to okay, I like him again? I'll talk to him.
Cuz then eventually things just kind of go back to normal. That was enough for me.
Hmm.
I don't know. You and I are very different in that sense. Like you need communication and like validation of some sort. I if you just give me like a few days, I don't care anymore. Bye. Like okay, move on.
I wouldn't say because that would be needing your like. If I'm mad at you, I'm not coming to you for approval or validation for things. I process those emotions very deeply internally.
Well, that's what I mean.
But yeah,
I
I don't.
I don't do that.
So there's probably some lingering, just like bullshit in
No,
there
there
that
isn't
you have
anything
against me.
lingering. I'm just somebody who
Because if you don't deal with it, then it doesn't just like disperse into thin air.
it does.
That's weird.
Cuz like why? What's the point? Like if we argued about it, we talked about it. Things just didn't end well. Okay, what am I why am I going to continue to sit here and think about it? I just don't like you in the moment because of what just happened. Give me a few days and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I guess.
Like I just don't see a point in like sitting there and thinking about all the emotions that I was feeling beforehand or after.
But
It's
you don't.
like now we argued about it, everything's out. Things didn't end very well, but I mean it happened, so it's done.
Yeah, you don't like. I mean, everybody does this. You know, after the fact, you're thinking about all the things you could have said or what you should have said.
Oh well, of course, but like I probably think about that stuff like 3 months later in the shower. Like
Oh, I'm thinking about that like minutes after it happens,
no,
or
I
like later that night in the shower, like the next morning, or when I'm like away at work or just by myself. Like things are just racing through my head.
it depends on what it was.
I usually go for like every single disagreement or argument. I'm just like, ooh, I
If it
should have said this.
was
That would have killed it.
if it was something about somebody, then yeah, after the fact I'm thinking about it. Like if it was something between you and I, no.
I usually think about something. I'm like, that would have cooked her up. Ooh.
You're stupid.
I have that like post argument attitude in my head.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one to really sit here and think about my emotions and of a few minutes after or whatever like I'm going to keep on moving. I just won't want to talk to you for a bit.
Yeah.
That's my way of dealing with it, I guess.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've me dealing with hate. I mean, I've never Never hated you ever. No, no, no.
Mm-hmm. I will say I did have that one moment of hate when we were friends, so it doesn't really count, I guess.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count at all.
That was my only real moment. I was like, hmm, yeah, I don't really care about you right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I there's never been a moment where I've like hated you. I don't even it's just fucked up. Because if I hate you, like that's horrible. Like genuine hatred towards you.
Yeah, I
Even in
don't
the
I don't
moments that
think
I've
you should hate the other person that bad.
I mean, within the bounds of a relationship, but even when we were, quote unquote friends, friends with benefits, I've never, not even in that did I hate you.
Well, no, yeah, I'm not saying I like hated your guts. I'm just saying like I did not care to talk to you in that moment. Like
Oh yeah, but that's just,
you weren't at the top of my head anymore the way that you were.
well, I mean, yeah, even in regular arguments, sometimes you're not at the top of my head. Like
Well,
I'm
that
talking about
was.
genuine hate. I've
I don't
never,
think you ever should genuinely hate your partner.
well, no, of course not, unless they cheat. But even then, you know, with time comes forgiveness and that sort of thing. Yeah, I haven't had to deal with hate. Like maybe I'll throw out the words, I hate Steph Curry, back in the day. Fucking, uh,
I mean, yeah, we probably use the word hate in our days.
yeah,
It comes out, but like not
yeah,
genuinely.
yeah. If it ever comes out of my mouth, I'm not genuinely saying like, even if I'm super pissed about something, like, again, back in the day, whenever Steph Curry was on his bullshit with the Warriors, I fucking hate the Warriors. Oh, fuck, 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 I hate them. No, no, I never actually genuinely hated them. It's the competitive spirit. I'm just like, fuck, like why are they so good? But now, even now, I again, not the drama dump. Gee, it's like 2 in 1 episode. What's happening?
I think we just need a full episode of you letting it all out there
Maybe.
because it keeps coming up.
Well, that's because a lot of my, I guess, life experience, or not, a lot of my, I guess, wisdom would be the best way to describe it, comes from the shit that I witnessed. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you can think of a lot of shit that you learned about in your growing ups. What? Growing ups?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the way my, I don't know, the years leading up to 10 years old, I would say 3 to 4 years, and then just the majority of my teenage years, I grew a unholy resentment, hatred of life, my parents at points, uh, myself. I mean, I never liked school, but I mean, in this time period, I just hated everything. I had, I really felt just like, no, I just was no about everything ever. I hated. I genuinely had hate on my heart. And about a year before, you and I reconnected, maybe closer to 2 years, within the 1 to 2 year range, um, I was just, no, it was ninth grade. That's what it was. So, that was about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because we reconnected like when I was in 11th.
Yes.
Yeah, that was about 2 years. Yeah, no, I remember specifically like it was after school one day. I was with my friend Chris, and we were just waiting in the car loop. And he's like, "Dude, like, we haven't talked in a while. Like, how are you doing? What do you?" And I don't know, him checking in on me, because I also just lost hope for humanity. Like, I treated people so wrong that I got treated wrong, and I'm like, fuck you guys. I just, oof, it was horrible. I was a horrible person. Um, him checking in on me, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, people are nice. My friend is nice. How could he? What?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Throughout that conversation that I had with him after school, and this was when bottle flipping was big, so we're like having a conversation while flipping a bottle on the ground. Um, I just came to the realization that this hatred that I had been carrying for so long up to that point. How old are you in ninth grade?
Like 16, 17?
I think it's, yeah, like 15, 16. 14, 15, 16 range. Um, Up to that point, like, dude, I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like, years of my life, a lot of my life, just carrying hatred on my heart. Dude, that shit is corrosive. Genuine hatred is corrosive to your heart and your soul. Like, that shit alone, no matter what's going on around you in life, that alone can take you down 6 feet below. And I mean that kind of in a literal sense. I mean, there were times in my life where I contemplated my life, like around that time period, of course. I contemplated my life genuinely because I just hated everything so bad that I was just like, fuck this. I want out. But yeah, no. Since that conversation, I made it a point to just, I wanted love on my heart. And that's where I really just like searched hard for what is love. Like, I want love in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on a really, really intense journey with that through family, through friends, through church, a lot of prayer. And I mean, it ended up leading me to her. So thank God for that. Um, yeah. Oof. I've not felt genuine hate on my heart since I was like, ooh, damn, that's like about 7 years ago at this point. That'll be 8 years. Oh my God, I turned 23 next year.
Yeah.
Shit. My LeBron year. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's the real 23, by the way, not Jordan. Jordan is not as good. Loser. Anyways, yeah, I don't deal with hate nowadays. I don't deal with hate. Even towards the beginning of our relationship when shit was awful, and even when she first moved to Alaska with me when shit was even more awful, I never ever hated her. Even in our friends with benefits stage, I'm just gonna start calling it that because that's what it was. Yeah, this childish, like, quote unquote friendship, like, no, let's call it what it was. All right, friends with benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even through the lowest points of that did I hate her. And even if you are, I don't know, some random stranger is a bad example, but if you're somebody that's done me wrong, like if somebody goes out and does something terrible to me tomorrow, like there will not be a day on this earth that I hate a single person, like genuinely. I might throw the word around just for like to express my genuine dislike. But I'm never gonna hate. Hatred is corrosive. You got, like, if you have hatred on your heart, I urge you to try your hardest to get away from that. Because that shit will just turn your outlook on life way upside down. I'm sure, like it did to me, it might do to others. I'm sure it has done to others where you contemplate your life. I'm sure there's been people where it actually has completed that contemplation of life, which is really sad. Yeah, just within yourself, hatred needs to go away. Within a relationship, I pray for anybody that it never comes about. I pray that you never also hate me, please.
I don't hate you.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Usually nowadays, if I'm like genuinely mad about something or I have a super strong dislike, I don't know. Um, I just get alone, pray on it. Just pray on it. I've been doing a lot of, since the TDY, just like taking my faith super serious, and I'm not joking when I'm telling you guys it's the light of my life. So yeah, deal with hate the way you want, but I suggest prayer. That shit is amazing. Probably shouldn't curse while trying to say that. It's okay.
You get the point.
Yeah. Well, that was it. I think I put that together real well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. Let's go ahead with the ending questions here. Ending question. Oh, how did
You forgot your song.
I forgot my song. Ending questions. It's a wrap now.
Okay.
I don't know. I give up. Ending questions. Let's do it. um, what? Oh, forgot I wrote this one down. What fight of ours did you struggle with the most?
Oh God. It's been quite a few.
Oh, which one did you struggle with the most?
Mm. Mm. Oh God. I'm really trying to like think back. It's definitely when we were in Alaska, because those were our worst fights. Do, 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 do. I'm thinking. I keep coming back to this one, but like I don't know. Like struggle how? Like with myself mentally, or like with us?
Mm, which one did you struggle with the most?
So like
That's the
me
question.
me
Yes.
mentally.
You internally, what were you just like, what the fuck the most with? Like, what did you struggle so hard?
I want to say I don't. Oh God, I don't know because I feel like I'm mixing up times, and I can't
Yeah.
think. I want to say the Halloween night, but at the same time, we don't even know what how that even started. But like, I feel like that
What?
just kind of
Halloween.
yeah. When we came back from the party, where you almost left the house, not the relationship.
Mm.
To clarify. How
What?
do you not remember? It was after the party.
Which one? I feel like we went to like two separate ones.
Well, there was only one party that we came back and had a huge argument about. Which again, that's why I don't want to say that one because we don't even remember how that even started. But it was like the worst argument we've ever had.
I don't think we would have had the worst argument we've ever had with like Halloween makeup on, because we did makeup. That seems a bit ridiculous.
No, it wasn't that one. Not that one, but I think did something happen that night too?
No.
No, something happened. We came back from somewhere. It was some kind of party.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now. When you said Halloween, though, I was like, what? That didn't happen.
I think I remember that night, but I think it was that one. I don't know. I struggled with anything really that happened from like October, December, January.
What'd you struggle with the
My mental
most?
state was just not okay during those months to begin with, so anything kind of
What argument? What was it?
set
What
me
was it
off.
even about?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Do you
those
just
were
struggle with it
our
because you don't even know what it's about?
no, no. I think I'm just like trying to say it's that one because that was like the worst one we've had. But anytime that we talk about it, we never know like how that even started. Yeah, it resulted in like you almost trying to leave to
Well, I
sleep somewhere
oh
else.
wait, I know what it was because this was you came back around to your whole like questioning of my loyalty thing. Like that was a reoccurring issue throughout our dating portion of our relationship, where I feel like, or no, you were just questioning me a lot because I don't think, while we were dating, that you did not believe that maybe there was such a thing as a loyal dude, no matter what I told
I
you.
think I think that's why I'm saying like
And that just kind of
anything that
resurfaced.
happened within those months, I was mentally just kind of not okay because yeah, that was just kind of where my head was at all the time.
Hmm.
So maybe it was that one.
I'm pretty sure it was that. Because I mean that's the only thing that could make me so mad, that would make me want to leave the house for the night, if you're genuinely questioning my loyalty, like accusing me of engaging in extra relationship outside of our relationship. Like if you're making genuine accusations and yet you're just going off of this feeling or some bullshit that you're trying to concoct in your head, but you're like sticking to it, like that's the only thing that could make me mad. Because if I know I'm innocent, because I'm pretty sure when I was like starting to like change my clothes and like get comfortable to get out of the house, I think I was starting to like laugh because I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm leaving.
Yeah, maybe.
I was either starting to laugh or like in my head, I was like, this is hilarious, but also I'm leaving. Like I'm really mad.
Yeah, I would say it's probably that one. But again, that those like few months combined just like was not it.
Yeah. Like I want like what did you struggle with the most? Like what?
That is what I struggled with clearly when
Like
that
is
was all what my
no, yeah.
head was thinking about.
It's like jealousy and trying to accuse me of cheating that I definitely never ever would ever do.
Yeah, that's essentially what I struggled with because I was constantly thinking that that's what was happening.
Yeah. And you married? I
Well,
don't
that
know.
didn't
That just
happen
seems
until
like
after we got married.
hmm?
That was all after we were
You
married.
said you've been dealing. You just said you've been dealing with that for like ever. You that was
No, I'm
also a
talking
big
about
thing in our
that.
dating
I'm
relationship.
talking about that period in Alaska. Those like last few months going into winter and during. So yeah, it was essentially from like October to beginning of the year.
Hmm. But like
However long winter lasted, I don't know.
I don't know, the way you just said it made it seem like this was a existing issue that you still made the decision to marry with.
Well, yeah, we had talked about that. Like, yeah, I still had trust issues when we got married, but it just like enhanced even more when I was in Alaska.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
we've
I don't think
I mean, we literally had this conversation before.
I don't think there's a
We
version of that conversation where you fully admit, "Hey, I don't trust you, but let's get married," and I would have been like, "Yeah, okay."
I did.
No,
We talked about it. It's
there's
in one of the
no.
podcasts. I know we did. We had this
Wow.
exact conversation.
Well, then I might have. I don't know. I don't think I would have been okay with. That just seems
Yep,
like
no,
what?
it happened because that's what we had both said. Like, yeah, if you really look at it, we shouldn't have gotten married at the time that we did. That's when
Yeah,
we had that whole conversation. It might have been
I don't know.
in the relationship one.
Probably. I know that it's been outside of that one relationship video where we tell all the details or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna have such good wisdom for our children. Yeah, not just within stuff of ourself, but like, I mean, again, my parents were they divorced me, or they did not divorce me. They divorced while I was growing up. Her family also
It's
has its
been through it
issues. Like,
all.
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of wisdom to put on our children. Um, what fight of ours did I struggle with the most? I mean, I that was gonna be my immediate answer. It's just like I understood, but that's why it was such a struggle for me. Like I understood why you questioned my loyalty because that's all you ever knew was disloyalty.
Yeah.
Coming into our relationship and throughout the course of those first 2 years of our relationship, all you ever knew prior to that was disloyalty and just horrible toxicity. But that's why it was such a struggle because I'm like, I understand why she's like this, but it's also me. I am not that. So her like trying to project that onto me and like fit me to that mold of a terrible guy. Oh, it was such a struggle for me to have to deal with. It really, really tested my patience. I mean, like she just said, that there was that one night where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go stay at Lennon's house tonight because I can't. Like, I'm done being accused of this shit. Um, yeah, hopefully, or not hopefully, luckily, hopefully, we're done with that.
Yes.
Yes, that's all good. Um, this is more of a yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more of a personal question from me to you.
So you don't answer this question?
I mean, I can, or yeah, I can answer this, but I would like the answer. I'm more interested in your answer. Is in this next season of life, not just like winter summer type of season, just like
The
this.
next chapter?
Yeah, this next season, this next chapter of life. We're starting to look ahead towards kids and the growing of family.
Mm-hmm.
How can I love you best?
Oh God. I mean, I don't really have anything to speak on in this moment. It's more of like when we have kids or I'm pregnant. I don't know. I feel like I've seen so much, and like everybody always talks about, like, oh, well, when you have kids, your husband just kind of like is out of the question. Like it's just, I don't know. There's
What?
like it's just very common that something that I saw from Faith actually that she had posted about
Oh my
was that
goodness.
um she had posted that mother takes care of child, father takes care of mother when during pregnancy and when you have kids. Because like obviously the child is, especially when they're babies and for a little bit after that, they're it's going to be easier to take care of from the mom because they're going to be more attached because that's just what babies are. Like the dad struggle a little bit with taking care of that. So I think it's important for the dad to really make sure that mom's okay while mom is taking care of child because that's not easy. So I think it's just making sure that that's happening, but then still like prioritizing us as much as we can. Because like when you have kids, especially in the beginning, things are going to get harder, and obviously it's not about us anymore. Like we're not going to be able to just get up and leave and go do whatever we want, or like just cuddle by ourselves. Like it's not that's not really going to happen as much. So I think being able to realize that and doing whatever you can to make sure that that isn't what's happening. I don't know. That's all I really care about. In this moment, I don't really have anything to say. It's more of the future and just like making sure our relationship doesn't go downhill or like boring, I guess, or where it just becomes a, I don't know, like this boring routine. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Faith says. I mean, not that I'm gonna exclude my connection to a child, but it's
Well, no, that's obviously not what I'm trying to say either.
yeah, no. I don't know, because somebody could misconstrue that. Of course, dad connects with child, but also dad takes care of household, take care of mommy.
Obviously, I'm the one who stays at home, so like I that is my primary job.
Yes.
So that's not something that I'd be like, well, this isn't fair that I'm home all day and I do this and I do this. No, as long as I get something from you, then that's all I really care about. I saw there's this other.
What about a crisp high five?
I'm gonna give you a crisp high five in the face. Um, something that I had saw. I think it's also just like sharing the duties while you can. I think the biggest thing that I feel like is really common in families, which is not the good side of it, is that like men think that because you do take care of, financial things, you're the one who puts the house over our head and gets us whatever. That
Roof.
that's what I meant, sorry. Um Men think that because they do that that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
And like that's enough. When I personally don't think that, and I don't think that's how it should ever be. Like yes, you do a lot more, and I'm not trying to like discredit anybody for that, but it's like when you have a family, there's you got extra things to do. It's not just about that. It doesn't mean you get to like go to work and then come home and let me just sit down and do nothing. No, it's like, well, now you have a whole family that you're coming home to as well.
Yeah.
That needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that,
And even without family, just in a regular relationship.
well, yeah, I just see it more common
Well, yeah, yeah.
in a family with kids is that it gets to a point sometimes where dad thinks that, well, I I pay the bills around here, so let me sit down on the couch and you do everything else. You cook, you clean, you watch the kids, and do X, Y, and Z things. Like, no, that's just not how it is. And if that's how you think it is, then don't have kids. You'll be in a relationship in that case. But yeah,
I mean, yeah. I don't take any. Oh, well, that'd be the wrong way to phrase that. I do take pride in being the, man of the house, and I pay the bills and the this, but I don't come home and I'm just like, I don't dick off. Like, I recognize that there's a responsibility to a puppy. I'm gonna go take him out. I'm gonna go do what comes with that, feed him, whatever. I recognize that she also needs attention and some quality time, so we sit down, we watch TV, like, and every so often I try to get in on the dishes. I do the laundry. Like, I recognize these kinds of things. Um, yeah, I definitely have always. I look forward to the next chapter with the pregnancy and kids and stuff because I look forward to doing that extra stuff. I'm definitely not gonna be one of them dads like, oh, let me just fuck in and I just got home from a long day of work. Everybody fuck off. No, I'm so excited to
because I
come
think
home.
that's something that a lot of people don't realize is that just because you can be a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that you're just at home. Like moms literally work 24/7
Yeah.
because they're cleaning, they're watching a kid, they're trying to take care of themselves and their relationship and anything else that may be happening in the house. Like it's there's never a point where it stops.
Yeah.
Especially like when you have a kid, like those first few months, if not for a while, you're you're constantly moving. Like you do not get rest. And a lot of people unfortunately don't really see that and just kind of think like, oh, stay at home mom, she has all the time in the world, she doesn't really do much. No, moms literally work 24/7 because they are taking care of another human.
Yeah. Yeah. I might need like a 30 minutes or something, like an hour. Like we usually sit down for an hour or we're just kind of like, well, when I get home. But every day I come home and I'm ready to serve my wife. I'm ready to serve my dog. At later down the line, I'll be ready to serve my family. I'm so excited for all that. And I'll definitely make it a point to, you know, get you what you need when that time comes. Faith is definitely right. You know, mom takes care of X, Y, and Z, but dad also umbrellas all that.
Yeah, also really just like uh, I can say this, but like I get how hard it can be at the same time. But like I really want to like I always see videos on TikTok of like I mean I don't know if this is bad, but I think it's cool and funny as long as you're being smart. It where they have the baby like in the little like dad has the carrier thing where like they're holding the baby in the front, but
Yeah.
like they're out with their friends at the bar. Obviously not staying out until like 2 in the morning, but like friends want to go have a drink for dinner or something. It's like I don't want to say no. Like I want us to go out, take the baby.
But yeah,
Like
I
let's go
mean,
have fun. Like we can still do that kind
in
of
a
stuff.
responsible, timely manner, of course. I see that
Yeah,
as
well
okay.
that's why I'm saying like as long as you're not being stupid, like parents shouldn't be getting wasted while you're holding a child. Like no, let's go out. Let's have a drink or two, no limits or whatever. But like I really want to be those kind of parents, not the kind of parents where we're like always tired and never want to go out and do anything and think that our lives are over because we have a child. I say that now because I get that when you have your first kid, there's a lot of new things that you're going to have to adjust to and you're going to be tired the same way that we were exhausted with getting Sky that first like 2 months. But eventually, I do strive to be the kind of parents where we just say yes and take our child because our lives didn't end when we have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna go out and party and bring our kids with us in in a
Responsibly.
responsible way. Yeah, we're gonna be there with the babies on the little carrier having fun.
Is there anything I can do now?
Better. No, what I had said, I feel good where we're at.
Just making sure.
No.
I'm still, like I said earlier, like way a million years ago earlier. There's things in that healthy habits thing that I am working on. I want to make that extra effort, and I'm keeping up. I'm trying my best to keep up that effort.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you feel like asking me this question, or
I can. I mean, you had just said that that was something you wanted to hear from me, but if you have a response, is there something that you want to point out?
I didn't really think about that far.
Oh my goodness!
I was just thinking about your response.
As you just asked right now, if you wanted me to ask you that question.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you really wanted to know something, I'd have to like maybe think about it. But right now, I don't know.
If you want to answer, we can. Want to answer? If you want to answer, we can circle back to it in the end.
I might think about it. Well, the last question would be, what makes you feel refreshed after a long day?
Um. Hmm. I don't know. Just being able to lay down and do nothing. I feel like that's the obvious choice.
Fair enough.
Just getting some quality time together. That's it. I don't know. A shower helps too.
Yeah.
When we do decide to shower.
We've been showering more. Oh god, that sounds horrible. Okay, usually, guys, we maybe go like every other day, sometimes. But lately, I've been trying to make it more of a point. Because here's the thing, right? Look, hold up. Let me explain, right? Before we started dating, I mean, I was a clean person. I'd shower like every other day. Because there's those days, right? If you do absolutely nothing, what the fuck are you showering for? That's always been my stance. Like, if we stay home tomorrow and do absolutely nothing, why am I showering at all? What? So that's kind of what that was my stance before we started dating. But then obviously when I tell her that, she'd look at me crazy because she was a shower every day, maybe even twice a day kind of person.
Yeah.
So she'd be like, "Oh my god, you're disgusting," and I'm like, "Dude, I didn't even do anything today. Why am I gonna shower? What?" But no, now it's kind of like maybe reversed, where sometimes she's just too lazy, she doesn't feel like it, and I'm just like, "Let's come on, man, let's go in the shower."
Well, because like I'm not going anywhere. Nobody's smelling me. I'm just here at home with Sky. Like I can shower when I feel like it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to make it a more everyday thing, especially because now we're consistently in the gym every day. That's like the last thing we do at the end of every day. Mm-hmm. So we definitely need to get in the shower after sweating our asses off in the gym, especially you. You come out of the gym wet like a motherfucker, and I don't. Never mind.
Put in that work.
Yeah. Let me think for a second. How can you love me best in this next season of life?
Oh, we're gonna circle back.
Yeah. I guess my quick answer would be like, I don't know. Don't forget about me.
Yeah, that's valid.
Because I understand, like, the new mother kind of thing, and especially you being home all day, like, that's your whole life, and you're super concerned with the baby, rightfully so, like, raise the baby, yes. But, it's kind of with me, right? Because I'm still going to be dealing with the baby on my time whenever I get home. I think then at that point it's just like a co-effort. Like, let's not forget about our relationship. Let's make sure that we're good so that we can have a good trickle down effect to the child slash children.
Yeah, that's why I had said that, like, still, obviously, child is priority, but at the same time, like, making sure that we're still good and things aren't dying down.
Yeah. Mm, yeah, that'd probably be my short answer for now. I don't think there's anything else in this coming chapter of life that um would make me feel more loved like you love me. I'm very I mean I I'm sure I give off the sense that I'm just like super secure in this. Like, I don't think of the crazy stupid bullshit. I'm concerned about what I'm doing for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a relationship should be. So
Yeah.
making sure both parties are good.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Well, I'm you do your outro. I did yay, I did it. I
Yes, you
did
did.
podcast.
Alrighty. Um, Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, you should go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, that was I'm so good.
What?
Yesterday's
Oh,
video.
oh, you're referring to the video. Yes. You can go watch that. We did a fun little guessing game again. What else was I gonna say? Do all things. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Go ahead and follow so you can keep up with podcasts when they're uploaded.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for you.
Yep. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time.
Toodaloo!
Again.